Hi, this is Mike Coleman with Value Real Estate, Mr. California Real Estate. Here to talk to you today about first-time homebuyers and what first-time homebuyers need to do as their very first step before they buy a home or before they go looking for a home. All right, what is that? What is that very first step? The first step is to get a pre-approval, not a pre-qualification, not something you go run online. This is actually sitting down or speaking with a loan officer, and they're going to ask you for a lot of information. But when they're done, they're going to give you a pre-approval that's going to give you a great deal of information and be very helpful to you in going through the home purchase process. The first thing the pre-approval is going to tell you is how much house you can afford. It's basically going to tell you how much money the bank will lend you to buy a home. They will come back and they will give you a specific number, like $120,000. Now, if you have $20,000 in the bank, then that says that, okay, you can probably buy a house somewhere between $125,000 and $135,000, because don't forget, there's going to be some closing costs that you're going to have to cover with that money you have in the bank. So, very important. You now know what price range to shop in. Something below $125,000 to $135,000. Okay, good, we know that. Second thing it'll tell us is, hey, if we do shop in that price range, what our monthly payments will be. Maybe it came back and said our monthly payments are going to be $1,200 a month. Well, that's great. But if you're currently today paying $800 a month in rent, where's that $400 a month going to come from? And are you willing to part with it to pay for your house? I mean, perhaps you're using that money for something that's very important to you, a dream vacation, you're saving for your kids' education, maybe you're saving up to buy a car. Whatever you're using that money for, you have to realize that when you buy the house, that money's now going to go to that particular part of your life, and it won't be available for those other things. And are you willing, is that something you're willing to sacrifice? And if it is, then great. You're in good shape. And just one more thing to review. If not, then maybe you need to back off a little bit more on that purchase price so that you get that payment more in line with what you're paying today. And that can be done. It just means you have to be satisfied with a little lesser house or a house in maybe not quite as nice a part of town. But it is a very, very important part, and some people forget that. They once they get that pre-qualification and it says, boy, I'm qualified for this much money, then they want to go spend it. But that's only part of the equation. So the other part of the equation is to make sure that that you can afford that monthly payment and that you're comfortable with that. All right, so what's the third thing? Third thing is, how much money am I going to have to write a check for at closing? And doing your pre-qualification, you'll get that information. Or if you don't, if they don't give you that much detail, then you can ask your realtor to calculate that for you. Give your realtor that qualification. If you have a good realtor, they'll be able to give you a pretty good idea of how much money you're going to have to come up with at closing. Very important number. Let's say you've got that $20,000 in the bank, and I come back and I do my calculation as a realtor and says, hey, you're going to need $15,000 of it to close this deal. Now the question is, are you willing to part with $15,000 of that $20,000 you have in the bank? If you are, great. And we're good and we're ready to move forward. If you're not, then maybe we need to structure the deal differently, or maybe again we need to rethink about how much house we're buying. So let's review. 3 things, very important, before you ever go looking for houses. 1, how much will a bank lend you? 2, what will my monthly payments be? And 3, how much money am I going to have to come up with at close? After you get your pre-qualification, or I'm sorry, pre-approval, not pre-qualification, pre-approval, once you have that, you should know the answer to those three questions. And when you do, and you feel good, and you're comfortable, call your realtor up. Say, hey, let's go see some houses. Hey, this is Mr. California Real Estate, Mike Coleman. Visit my website, www.centralvalleyareahomes.com, and click on the blog. I've got a written version of this out there. And have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.